The most hyped collaboration of the year, a brand new SB Dunk Low pack, several Kobe's, and the return of multiple grails, including the return of an iconic Jordan with a brand new take, is just some of what we're going to be seeing in February, which is absolutely stacked. In fact, we have an absolutely massive shock drop happening for the Jordan 4 Bred Reimagined, happening within the first couple of days of February. With 200,000 pairs dropping on sneakers, there's going to be 50,000 pairs dropping on this shock drop alone, meaning you should have a pretty good chance at getting these. Now, for all precise information, including the time and date, as always, I do post that information inside of my group Endurance, which you could join with the link below. But just keep in mind that we do so much more than sneaker reselling, like concert ticket reselling, Amazon FBA, stock investing, sports betting, and so much more. So if you're looking for a productive side hustle, be sure to check it out. Not to mention, on that same link, we also offer completely free sneaker updates and guides, so why not check it out? For all of the best sneaker releases in February, we're going to be mentioning the name of the sneaker, the retail price, the release date, and whether or not that sneaker will be profitable, or if they might even sit on shelves, resulting in a sale price. Be sure to subscribe and enable post notifications. This way, you're always 100% updated on the best sneaker releases. And also, even if you're not in Endurance, make sure to follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10. This way, you guys get urgent notifications like when a shock drop goes live. Now, first, on February 1st, for $125, we got the Midnight Navy and Tour Yellow Dunk Low dropping. As you can see, these have a bit of an aged look on them, making them pretty unique, but unfortunately, demand is still quite low on these, and with a slightly elevated retail of $125, I would have to say these are just going to be personals. Now, also on the first, for $130, we got the Air Force One Low Year of the Dragon dropping. I must admit, this is definitely one of the cooler Air Force Ones that we've seen recently. As you can see on the back heel tab and on the Nike swoosh, we got that cool dragon scale pattern, and the color combination isn't too bad either, and still pretty wearable, but unfortunately, they're already under retail on StockX, so of course, I gotta say personals only, and you could probably get them for below retail too if you like them. Then for $110 on February 2nd, I wish I could tell you what the fuck happened here. This is essentially what happens when you're at a buddy's house and you gotta take a but you don't want to use his bathroom, so you quickly put on your shoes. Anyway, these are the Jordan Mule Golf Breds. I would have to say these are personal only. These are actually garbage shoes. Like when your wife tells you to go take out the trash and you're feeling lazy and you don't really want to tie up your shoes and put them on properly, you just end up slipping your feet in and the back gets creased and you just come right back in real quick and your shoes end up looking like this. Also on February 2nd, for $115, we got the Dunk Low Brazil dropping again, and while pre-sale does look decent on these, I would expect them to be mostly personals, at best maybe some brick profit on the large size 10 and above, especially if you have no tax. Overall, nothing too crazy. Also on February 2nd, for $135, we got the Dunk Low Sandrift Light Armory Blue dropping. This time it's coming with a nubuck material on the upper, and the color combination definitely isn't too bad, but with how demand is currently looking, I would have to say these are going to be personals only, especially with that slightly elevated retail. Then finally, for February 2nd, for $140, the Ja 1 check is going to be dropping. Unfortunately, while Ja 1s used to be pretty hyped up, recently they haven't been performing too well. Only in some cases the very, very large sizes would do decent. When it comes to this colorway though, I don't think this is going to be one of them. I'd say these are just going to be personals. Then on February 3rd, for $210, the Jordan 3 Craft Ivory is going to be dropping. Like most Craft Jordan 3s and 4s, I would expect these to just be personals, but I do have to say that this is a really nice Jordan 3 colorway. It almost gives me an Alma Meunier type vibe, and it's definitely super wearable. It still has an aged vintage look too. Definitely a cool Jordan 3 if you want a nice personal. Then on the 7th, for $150, we got the KD4 Year of the Dragon 2.0 finally coming back. This is a sneaker that used to have really high demand when they originally dropped, at least the original version, but now we got this 2.0 version dropping, and I think there's going to be a lot of people who want these in their collection too. So as long as they don't overproduce these, there should be some potential for lunch money on these when it comes to sizes 11 and above, maybe even sizes 10 and 10 and a half too, but I'm not feeling too optimistic considering what we saw on the KD3 Christmas. Those are still doing slightly above retail on the very large sizes, but overall it wasn't a great performance. I do think when it comes to these though, they have slightly more potential, but do keep in mind the retail is also slightly higher at $150. Overall, I think there's some potential for lunch money in those larger sizes, and it's a classic that a lot of Nike basketball collectors are definitely going to want, including myself. Also on the 7th for $155, the Jordan 2 Low Python is going to be dropping. Like all Jordan 2 Lows, I would expect these to just be personals, and you might be able to get them on sale too if you are patient. Then on February 8th for $190 each, we got two colorways of Kobe 8 Protros coming in Court Purple and Radiant Emerald. Both of these have 824 all across the sneaker for Kobe Day, and they're mostly going to be white aside from that. If you do wear these, you're definitely going to be breaking some necks on the court, and if you do intend to resell these should definitely be profitable with a good margin, or potentially even better in the large sizes. Then on February 9th, we have the SB Dunk Low City of Love pack dropping for $125 each. We got two colorways. One of them is the Coconut Milk and Light Bone Phantom University Red Sail colorway, and the other is the Burgundy Crush and Dark Team Red Earth Dark Pony University Red colorway. Personally, I'm a much bigger fan of the Light Bone colorway, and I think those are probably going to end up reselling for much more than the Burgundy pair, but in general, both pairs should end up being profitable with at least a decent to good margin, and I'm really optimistic about that Coconut Milk Light Bone pair. I really do think that those could do much better than that too. We'll see as we get closer to the release. Not to mention, it's an absolutely sick pair, extremely detailed too, all the way up to the insoles and the back of the tongue too. You really have to appreciate all the work and effort that went into these, and the materials on them are completely different too, and they look really high quality. So I'm really hoping I could get a pair in my collection. Let me know what you think about these though. And since this is an SB, you could expect these to randomly shock drop at tons of skate shops. So if you do need a good skate shop monitor that covers every single skate shop website, definitely consider joining Endurance with the link below. And also remember, we do still have completely free guides for sneakers on that same link, so check it out if you haven't already. Then on February 10th for $200, the Jordan 13 Blue Gray is going to be dropping. I know I made a joke earlier about these looking like something a Hertz employee would wear, but honestly, it's not too bad. Now that I've seen the actual pair rather than the mock-up, it does look like a pretty nice colorway. It's more blue than gray, but still, as a Jordan 13, I would expect these to just be personals, and if you do want a personal, you could probably get these on sale if you are patient. Then on February 14th for $180, the Jordan 1 High Women's Metallic Gold will be dropping, and these are also going to be coming with a little gold hang tag, which is pretty cool, but unfortunately, like most recent Jordan 1s that are not classics, I would have to say these are just going to be personals, and you could probably get them for below retail if you are patient. Then on February 15th for $130, we're getting the return of a grail, and that is the KD4 Galaxy. If you used to collect Nike basketball, you remember how hyped up these used to be. Personally, I'm really excited to finally be able to get my hands on a pair, because back in the day, I was not able to get these, unfortunately. But anyway, with a retail of only $130, I would definitely expect these to be profitable with a good margin, and potentially even better in the very large sizes. This is definitely one of the more in-demand KD4 colorways that's coming back this year. More importantly, on the 15th for $140 each, we got the Trophy Room Jordan 1 Low Pack, which is coming in two colorways, the Home and Away Pack, both pretty much a Chicago colorway with different colored swooshes. Guys, these are going to be extremely profitable with an incredible margin. Obviously, you're going to want to go full throttle. And when it comes to the Trophy Room release, of course, I don't know if you could really call it a release. They're probably going to end up back, no, not probably, they definitely will end up backdooring the overwhelming majority of pairs, if not all the pairs, as we saw in the prior Trophy Room Jordan 1 release. But Nike will be getting some pairs too. Last time on the Jordan 1 Trophy Room, they got about 200 pairs. This time, hopefully they do get some more. And if you do recall, last time they did exclusive access. It's not confirmed for sure yet how they're going to be releasing these pairs, but whatever they do, trust Endurance will have the info. Again, you could consider joining with the link below. Then on February 16th for $200, the Jordan 1 High 85 Metallic Burgundy is going to be dropping. Now, this is definitely not the most demanded colorway, but because it is an 85 cut, I do think that there's some potential for brick profit, or at least if you have local buyers and you could avoid seller platform fees, you might be able to make a couple dollars off these, but overall, it's not going to be anything too great. They're mostly just going to end up being personals because of the colorway. We've obviously seen much better colorways in the 85 cut, and unfortunately, this is not one of the best ones. Then on February 17th for $215, we have a lot of people's favorites for February, and that is the Jordan 4 Bred Reimagined. Reimagined. Not only is the Bred itself one of the most iconic Jordan 4 colorways that pretty much everyone loves, but the reimagined aspect this time actually is not too bad. Now, unfortunately, when it came to the Jordan 1 Royal Reimagined, a lot of people really hated those, including myself. But when it comes to these, leather on the Bred 4 definitely isn't terrible. In fact, some people even prefer them because now they're a lot more durable than the original pair with Nubuck, and we still do get that iconic Nike Air on the back. So personally, I am a fan of these. I am looking forward to getting a personal, and you could expect these to be profitable with a decent to good margin, especially in the large sizes 10 and above. And of course, don't forget about the shock drop that these will be having early. Stay on your toes. Then on the 21st, for $150, the Awake New York Jordan Airship is going to be dropping. This is definitely not a bad looking pair. If you are a fan of that vintage retro looking vibe, which a lot of airships have, this pair is definitely for you. But unfortunately, like most airships, even collaborations like the A Ma Manières, these are probably just going to end up being personals, and at best, maybe in the large sizes, a little bit of brick profit if you have no tax, but other than that, they're probably just going to be personals. Then on February 23rd, for a whopping $250, the Lebron 4 Fruity Pebbles is finally making its return. In fact, I'm not even sure if the original release was a public release or not, but anyway, this is one of the most iconic Lebrons, believe it or not. Even though they look crazy, if you've been in the game for a long time, you know how important this pair is. Personally, I wasn't a big fan of them, but it does seem like they're essential to get in your collection if you were a fan of Nike basketball, and that's how I feel about these pretty much. But anyway, in terms of resale, despite these being extremely iconic, with a retail of $250 and how most Lebrons tend to do, unless these end up being super limited, I'd probably expect these to just be personal. Now, if they do end up really limited, that is something that we would post in Endurance, because we do post stock numbers for every single Nike release. Then on February 24th, for $180, we got the Jordan 1 High Reverse Panda dropping. This is a very wearable Jordan 1, easy to match with almost every single outfit, but unfortunately, like most Jordan 1s recently, I would expect these to just be personals, and you might even be able to get them for below retail if you are patient. Then, just in time for March, on February 28th, for $200, the Jordan 5 Women's Lucky Green will be dropping. Unfortunately, like most Jordan 5s, I would expect these to just be personals. Then on February 29th, for $240, the Air Foamposite 1 Eggplant will finally be making its return. These were supposed to be dropping in January, but they actually got delayed to February. This is a classic Foamposite that a lot of people are really looking forward to. Nonetheless, with the retail of $240, I'd still expect these to mostly just be personals, aside from size 13. When it comes to size 13 in particular, like many Foamposites, I do think that there is some potential for brick profit, maybe even lunch money if you have no tax, and especially if you have local buyers. And last but not least, sometime in February, without a precise date, so subscribe and enable post notifications so you stay 100% updated, the Kobe 6 Protro BHM is going to be dropping for $190. Now, this is definitely a clean pair of Kobe's that a lot of people are going to be really excited for, myself included, but if you do intend to resell these, you could definitely expect these to be very profitable with a great margin too, full throttle. Obviously, February is looking absolutely stacked. It almost always is a good month every single year, following the worst month, which is January. But just a reminder, we do also have some shock drops this month, so you can feel free to check out the link in the description below to join Endurance. And just remember, we do so much more than just sneaker reselling too, including Amazon FBA, stock investing, concert ticket reselling, and even sports gambling promos too. So feel free to check it out, and you could even get free sneaker guides on that same link too, and even a free Chick-fil-A method. Yes, you could get Chick-fil-A for completely free. Other than that, have a fantastic rest of your day, and good luck on all these incredible releases.